All right, welcome again to the Monster Trio TCG podcast. I'm Henry,
What's up? I'm Jaden.
I'm Owen.
and today we're going to be talking about OP11, our initial thoughts and speculation. It's always kind of funny talking about these sets coming out in the East, since we don't even have OP10 or EV2 yet, but we're hoping a worldwide release is going to be announced next month. And we've already been playing OP10 and EV2 on a sim, so we have some familiarity, though I'd say, Jaden, you probably have the most out of the three of us.
Yeah, I am a sim degenerate. It's really bad.
I've played so many games of Usopp, dude.
I am really loving the new green purple Luffy. I've been playing Usopp recently as well, and I really want to tinker around with Yellow Kid and Green Yellow Law, but I haven't so much yet.
I love Kid.
I'm
Kid
so
is
excited for those ones.
But yeah, so we're probably gonna go in just color order and just talk about what we think the leader strengths are, its weaknesses, the holes in his game design, things that we think are kind of head scratchy, and we're just gonna work from there and kind of tier the leaders and just see where we think they'll fall in the meta share when the meta kind of settles around April.
Mm-hmm. So first off, starting with the red would be Red Black Kobe. Something that's kind of special about this leader is for the first time, I believe ever, Kobe is the leader of red and black with no overlap for any of the other 5 leaders. So he's getting like SRs for both colors, and
He gets 4
really
SRs
unusual.
at the secret rare. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I'll say Vegapunk has like 5 SRs, but it was spread over like 3 sets.
3 sets.
Kobe getting 5 immediately SRs and secret rares is crazy.
Everyone loved the Hachinosu arc. That arc is like,
It's
I feel like it has it was basically everything everyone liked about Boku no Hero Academia, but just like in like two like manga chapters, right? Just like Kobe went through like the entire Deku All Might training thing just in 2 chapters, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, just to rant about My Hero for a second. I just remember My Hero like being like kind of special. Like, wow, it's the first time I felt anything like old shonen in like the modern day. And then they just gave Midoriya like every power ever. I'm like, I'm so done with him. I think Midoriya is so boring by the end of the series. He's just like, I'm God with 7 quirks. I'm like, I just like when you have super strength and you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
It's very special to have a super strength hero. I'm like, wow, that's so generic. How do we not have one of those?
It's so hard for mangakas not to power sell their MCs. I also feel like the Shonen Jump editors are also just like, you gotta make him Spider-Man. You gotta make him Spider-Man.
No,
you gotta do more things, bro. He's really boring. You gotta do more stuff.
Horikoshi loves Spider-Man. That was his choice.
Yeah, that was definitely his choice.
I really love, speaking of Shonen power-ups, Scott and I talk about this all the time, but I think it's actually so sick that like they just gave Luffy 0 power-ups for like the first like 400 chapters, and then suddenly he's like, oh, I got my first major power-up, I'm just fast. And then in the same part, he's like, yeah, oh, it looks like I didn't have to use my second power-up on you. It's like they showed like Super Saiyan, and then he's like, oh, sorry, Freeze, it looks like I didn't have to use Super Saiyan like Mega Ultra God on you, you know? And you're like, what?
Well, that was the gimmick with Luffy, is that in the East Blue Saga, he already was stronger than everyone.
Yeah,
they just had to like handicap him in every fight that make it like worth like the time.
Yeah, he was just dumb in all the fights.
Yeah, but sorry to distract you all. We can continue with Kobe.
No, that's okay.
What does Kobe do? Do you remember?
Mainstay on the channel is where we just begin the podcast by talking about unrelated anime stuff.
That's fair.
Just a little bit.
I think one thing that we did want to focus in our first episode was that we actually know One Piece, the series, like unlike people who are just playing the card game, so we can.
Yeah, a lot of card game players get put onto One Piece, and a lot of the One Piece like watchers end up just collecting the card game. They don't really transition all the way over into playing competitively. That's what I've noticed, especially working at the store, right? Working at the card store, I get a lot of people who come in and they look through the One Piece section, and I'm like, oh, what are you playing? They're like, oh, I don't play the game. I just like to collect the cards. I think they're cute. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Which is always funny to me because I'm like, I don't feel like One Piece has the same collecting potential as Pokemon, but for a lot of people, it does. Maybe it's just because I play the game so much that I'm just like, I'm collecting the play, and I'm just collecting like the leaders, right? Because
I think it has an amazing art direction.
It does.
It does.
Mini rant. This is why I think other Bandai games fall off, like Dragon Ball. I'm sorry, I gotta get this off my chest. I hate this so much. The Dragon Ball Fusion World stuff and like the Union Arena stuff. Like, I think the only 2 games that are gonna actually pick up are Gundam and One Piece because they have actual art direction. I don't know if it's because Toriyama passed or they have like the legal dispute with Capsule Corporation, but the Dragon Ball card game, the
Capsule Corp is that what you said?
That's the name of his company.
Yeah. But sorry, I didn't know the name of that company. I thought it was like the actual Capsule Corp from like the Dragon Ball universe. Like,
no, they made a company in the real world called Capsule Corp though to own and manage the IP.
So that's so funny.
Before he got like really sick and passed, he had, I think, his executive assistant start the Capsule Corporation, which is the brand manager for Dragon Ball. And then now that Akira Toriyama has passed, he in his will, it doesn't clearly say who the IP should go to. If it should go to Toei Animation and Shueisha officially go to the Capsule Corporation. So they're in a big legal dispute right now. That's probably not the problem because Dragon Ball art style for the card game has been bad before Toriyama passed. So I don't know if he has somewhere in the contract where no one's allowed to draw Goku. I don't know what it is, but every Dragon Ball Fusion World card looks like the same fucking card, and I hate it so much. The thing I love about the One Piece card game is that the art direction is so good. It's so diverse. There's a dude who draws Scary Hody and Scary Big Mom. Love that guy. And there's the one person who does like the super flat stuff, like John Giant and the Black Garb card, the Cerberus card.
The blue card too.
Yeah, the blue
card.
Oh.
Yeah, the blue one. Talking about the Black Teach card, like the 2-cost Teach, where he's that super flat art style, super good. There's a scary artist. There's so many good artists in the One Piece card game. I feel like there's probably good artists for the Dragon Ball card game. They're not allowed to be good artists though. They're like, draw Goku the way you've seen him 10,000 times. And you better draw it the exact way.
I think one of One Piece's benefits is that every arc they have different costumes, and every set you can really focus on a different arc, and like the characters will look completely distinct. You have pre-time skip and post-time skip look. Dragon Ball doesn't really have that. Like you can have like kid Goku, then adult Goku, and what color is his hair this time? Like there just really isn't that much variety.
We went from Candyland to Japan. It's like Edo era Japan.
I loved explaining Whole Cake Island to people because I'm like, we are having a mafia story with the Power Rangers in Candyland. Like, I need you to understand. The Nazi Power Rangers in Candyland with the mob. Like, and then I'm not joking. Dermot is Nazi Power Ranger.
Yeah, they are.
That's
yes. The way his
Alice in Wonderland. Also, don't forget Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland, yeah.
Like with Brulee's mirror and everything. It's like
you're right.
So creative.
And then the next arc is just old school Japan to a T, and they fight a giant dragon in old school Japan.
Yeah.
And then after that, they fight demons in the future land.
Yeah, Futureland robots.
Demons and robots is the next one.
But we don't have the demons yet in the card game.
No, I feel like we
talk about Kobe.
Let's talk about Kobe.
I got a few things to say about Kobe as an enthusiast.
Explain what it does first.
So basically, your sword characters can attack other characters the turn that they're played. So basically, it's similar to Korea Coliseum. It's like pseudo character rush. And I think that in Kobe, if your characters would be removed from play, I think it's only by effect, right?
Yeah. So if by combat it doesn't work, it's like the opposite of Sabo, because Sabo protects KOs, and then Kobe protects everything that's not KO.
Yeah. So basically, if you got removed, you can just bottom deck 3 cards from your discard to save that card. And I remember that like as a judge, basically replacement effects are super powerful because if something meets the trigger for a replacement effect and you can just replace that effect with the thing. So if there was like a board wipe or like some kind of thing that like KO'd a sword character, you could save all of them with Kobe's leader ability, right? Which is crazy.
Removed by effect. So like Gravity Blade.
You can save both from Gravity Blade.
Yeah, or like 10 cost Kaido KO everything.
Save the whole board, right?
Yeah, you save the whole board. Like, I think isn't it only like characters with 7K or less base power or something like that?
Yes.
So you couldn't save your like Kobe or Garp, but everything else, which is crazy.
What I like about Kobe though is I really think attacking my favorite part of One Piece is just turning the character sideways.
Yeah,
and I think there's a lot to gain from there's a lot of ways to outplay your opponent by like holding like stronger removal options to like win, like slowly, accrue advantage by like having them counter out when they don't intend to counter. There's a lot of ways to outplay people. I really like Kobe because I think it's very skill expressive in that sense. Like you can attack. There's ways to attack active characters. There's ways to just like. And basically, if you can attack active characters, you can kind of just lock down a board, right? If they aren't able to remove you. Like a lot of times when I'm playing like Usopp or even Rebecca back in the day, if I'm life starving them the entire game and they can't play a body that's big enough, I can just like juice Luffy and then hit like freaking like 13k twice right into them and just like say like, hey, you don't got it like that, and I'm just gonna like punch whatever you have on board like as it comes in, right? It's like a more interactive Lucci, basically. But
the funny thing to me, sorry, I was just going to say, we've been talking about this offline, that because black and red combine into attacking characters that are active, that's like green. Green's supposed to rest your opponent's characters and then attack them. And that style of green is like how I started playing this game and one of my favorite versions of combat, which doesn't exist really right now. I actually kind of hate Bonnie for kind of stealing that identity from green of like defensive resting instead of offensive resting. So I really appreciate this type of board control, and it's a really good fusion of the two colors because like the original Garp didn't really have it.
I think that Kobe will end up being the best leader from the set. I don't think it'll be Nami. I definitely think it'll be Kobe. I think being able to, the game is balanced around you being able to play a character active and then having it survive to the next turn, right? Even like the effects that protect your board, they don't protect you from combat if they're active, right? It's all like there's a lot of anti-black cards that are being printed, like Submissive Smoker or Rocinante or you know what I'm talking about?
The girl Tashigi, like the smoker Tashigi. Oh my god, why did you say that?
There's the new Sanji. Like all these cards protect you from like effect removal, but it doesn't protect you from combat. So if you can swing at people's active characters, they have to give you cards from hand. And if you don't have like a strong draw engine, like I think Nami's only like that will really be able to compete with that. If you don't have a strong draw engine, you're just gonna have no cards in hand and no characters on the board. You're just gonna get abused. And I think because it's red, you can just do power reduction too. So it's like I don't know about you guys. Whenever I get a power reduction on a character, it's basically dead.
Yeah,
I don't remember ever saving a character that's gotten minus 2,000 power before.
I mean, I have if it's like 8 cost kit, but like that's like the only time where it's worth doing.
Yeah.
If you can fight through a cost reduced or power reduced 8 cost kit, you won.
Yeah.
Like only doing that if they're desperate. I mean, if not, they're only doing that if they're desperate, but like they're in desperation mode. They have to kill the kid.
Yeah.
I think Kobe will be really good against black decks in particular because it has defense against that. Like I think any deck that has a defensive leader ability for characters will excel at controlling board as a whole. I think to play devil's advocate, I think the reason Kobe will be not as good as we think it is because it looks like the meta is a lot of set 11 is leaders with defensive leader abilities, and leaders with defensive leader abilities end up being decks that just end up surviving to the late game with like a healthy life total where they can just keep dropping bombs over and over again. And I don't see a way for Kobe to control board if you're like it can like fight like 6k bodies and 5k bodies and like Doflamingo and stuff, but I don't see Kobe being able to fight like 12k bodies or like 10k bodies, right? Like through combination removal.
If the meta slows down enough, I think Blue Purple Luffy is going to be the best, but we can talk about that when we get there.
Yeah. Also,
so let's talk about some of the cards.
I'm actually filling the trash because he doesn't have a lot of card draw, and the only like consistent trash fillers will be the new Kuzan they printed that says minus mill 3, and then one of your leaders or characters can attack active characters this turn.
The new Kujaku searcher does something like that too, though.
Yeah,
right?
Kujaku pops itself, he gives something else 1,000, and then it goes to the trash. And then there's one more. It was the Sengoku, where you discard Black Navy cards.
2 Black Navy cards.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah. I think that's the problem, though. There's cards that care about Black Navy and Red Navy, and not necessarily both.
I think that's good though, because I think there's so many Navy cards that if they're not color locked, it becomes a Mario situation again.
I agree. I'm just saying I don't think you're going to be running the Black Sengoku, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, but I feel like, bro, there's like not. You just have to run the mill 3 Kuzan. I think that's the only thing about Kobe is that like, if you constantly try to run cards, at some point he will run out of cards in the trash to save them, and you will be able to get rid of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, brand new is not a bad stat line for running power reduction.
Forgot about brand new.
Yeah, brand new is going to be massive in that deck, I think.
Yeah, actually, never mind. It seems fine filling the trash. If they give him an event too, like the Blackbeard event, such as for Navy stuff, I think it's Jover.
Well, something I think is going to happen, and this is getting a little ahead of ourselves, is that I think they haven't revealed a stage for this deck yet. Because if we want to talk about our first SR, we have Garp, who's an 8 cost, 8k, who has, on play, you may place 3 cards with the type Navy from your trash into the bottom of your deck on any order to give up your 1 leader, 1 Rested Dawn, and then if there's a character in play with cost 9 or more, KO up to one of your opponents with a cost of 7 or more. So that if there's a character in play with 9 or more is like the thing that's a little confusing because it's like usually that means you have some ability to raise your own characters to 9.
Yeah.
But I just realized I don't know if it only cares about your own characters. It might also care
about
the
whole board in total.
Yeah.
But
so maybe there won't be a stage.
No, there has to be. Because there's no deck for that card.
Yeah. So which is a shame because it also like the way that it puts Arrested Dawn on your leader, you'd think it would work with Garp where it lowers the cost of something and then KOs it. I mean, maybe it will be good like that as long as there's a red or black Marine stage, presumably a black one that raises the cost of all your Marines.
No, I don't think it works like that because I think Garp's effect procs after the character Garp effect resolves. Because that's why you can use Moria into the 2k Brook to give yourself to Dawn and play like Gucci because your leader effect will proc after the whole Moria loop resolves.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not.
I'm talking to someone about that.
It's a really weirdly designed card. I don't know what it's for. There just has to be a stage that just it says like give once per turn, give your next Navy character a +1 cost or 1,000 power. Like something like that. There has to be like some stage that just gives your guys stuff.
I think Kobe, it's not threatening to go wide because it doesn't have what like something like Usopp has where like they can just shit out 3 bodies a turn, right? Like I think there's got to be something. I think it can be mid-ranging enough to beat the aggro decks, but I don't know if it goes wide enough to beat the control decks.
Yeah, because the only thing it really has is that EV2 Sengoku that brings another Navy character back. I think specifically a black Navy 4 cost or less.
Yeah, black Navy 4 cost, rusted.
Yeah.
And then the Sengoku, the blocker.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it brings back like Borsalino or Kuzan or something, so it could still be good, but I don't think it's what this deck wants. So I think we're still waiting to see more cards. All the SRs have been revealed, so we'll see. I want to talk a little bit more about Garp once we talk about Helmeppo, but let's talk about Kobe as the secret rare of this deck.
I love the Kobe super strong.
So he's at 8 cost 9k with the on play that one of your characters can attack one of your opponent's active characters this turn. And when attacking, bottom deck 2 cards from your trash to give your leader, one of your characters, 1k power until your opponent's turn, the end of your opponent's turn. So again, one more leader who could become 6k on defense. So
and you can play this guy from the trash on turn 6, on your 6th on turn.
Well, we can talk about Helmeppo in a second. But it's really good because you have an 8 cost 9k that can just smash one of your opponent's characters immediately, one of their active characters. And it gives you the defense to survive. So that seems pretty nuts.
Yeah, I guess too, like the biggest body you can play on your 7 down turn will be like an 8k body, right? Or I guess it would be 9k, right? So if you're playing like Kuros, right? Mm-hmm. You play the Kuros, they play the Kobe. Kobe can slam into Kuros for even numbers because it can give itself 1,000 power. Mm-hmm. So even then, like you still have to give up a 1k. And that's like the biggest body you can play on your 7 down turn.
I mean, I wouldn't spend 6 Dolan to go even with Kuros, right? Like, there's better things to do with 6 Dolan than that, right?
Oh, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, that's like the best, the worst situation for Kobe, the best situation for the opposing player, because that's the biggest body you'll have on 7 Dawn. Usually you'll probably have something a lot smaller, like a 6k, so you're gonna swing 2 or 3 over it, depending on what you want to do with the ability. And I think that's always like so annoying because it's like I play this the 7/6 or 7/7. You come through, I'm yawning so much today. I don't know why. You come through, you swing like a 9k at it, right? I have to give you 2 cards now, and I'm just going -3 in hand to play the body and defend the body. You know, that's so strong.
You also, since it lets you give the attack active character to anyone, what you can do also is you can have Kobe come in, attack one of their rested characters, and give your like brand new searcher the ability to attack an active character and like attack their Shirahoshi blocker or something like that. Yeah. So it allows you to do a lot of sneaky, cool plays like that as well.
Yeah, so that's my Gyat's play with Usopp. Like you use Gyat's to kill Rebecca blocker and Shirahoshi blocker.
Yeah.
Or like you make your searcher kill that. It's so sick. I love doing that.
So I know we kept hinting at it, but we could also talk about Helmeppo, who's a 6 cost 7k with the on play to draw a card. Then you can play a 8 cost or less sword character from your trash. Or sorry, draw a card, discard a card, play a 8 cost or less sword character from your trash, and then bottom deck it at the end of the turn. So you can replay your Kobe, or you could discard your Kobe, play it from trash, get what we just talked about. So like make your Helmeppo able to attack an active character and have your 9k Kobe attack the rested character. You can do lots of crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a red card from Magic the Gathering. It just says exile at the end of your turn, yada yada yada.
Yeah, like it's like lightning elemental or whatever.
Yeah,
or not lightning, spark elemental, where it comes in, hits hard, goes away.
I like this card. I think it's very strong. I think the fact that you don't have to set up your trash beforehand is crazy.
It also helps you set up your trash too with this cycle.
Yeah.
My concern though is that it's not really good it won't kill an opponent, but it will kill their board. But it's also then a 6 cost 7k, so that's just a good setup to have one more attack hitting your opponent every turn, which will give suck away 2 cards at least every turn if you're attacking their life.
Playing the Kobe, I think it's just super strong just because you get to there's so many combos, right? Because you can play Doll off of it. Doll's gonna pop up, give something -6k, right? I think that's what she does. It's a blocker that says
card.
Yeah, it's like a 4 cost 2k or something that says like give something -6k on play.
And then If it's tapped, bro, you're killing it. It's gone. If you play the Kobe, you're a 6K leader for the next turn, and you get to swing at 2 bodies. The card just seems cracked to me because you get to cycle a card, right? So you're not really going down in card. You're not going down in hand because you're just cycling the card. And you can always set up the play that you want, right? So whatever Navy card you think is right for the moment, you get to just play out, which I think is so crazy to me.
Well, I think there's one more Navy card that we should talk about on that regard of the power reduction as well.
Hibari?
The new Hibari. Yeah, so that's the other red SR. I know we talked about Kujaku the Searcher. Hibari is a 5-cost 6K with 1K counter. On play, gives something minus 2K power, and when attacking, it gains 1K. It gives 1K power to your leader or one of your active characters.
I wasn't clear about that.
Yeah. Sorry, I copied the whole descriptions into the thing for mine.
Let me read it. Give me a sec.
Yeah. Either way, I thought it would be good to spend a little bit more time on Kobe since he's taking up 2 of the colors.
Yeah, no, I think
Jinbei and Shirahoshi, I imagine will
Hibari herself gains plus 1K power.
Okay. So she's basically like a 7K attacker. Well, like a 9K attacker when you play and rush her, because she's gonna give the things that she's gonna give it minus 2K power and then attack it and get 1K power. So there's a 3K swing on there for a 5/6. So she's a 5/9 on the attack.
And then she gets rushed too.
Yeah. Well, like the pseudo Kobe rush.
Yeah. I mean, if you try to
crazy
plays against Kobe, it dies. That's just what I've learned.
Yeah. Which is fun because she's a sniper. She just comes in, shoots a thing.
Oh, you're so right. That's the flavor.
Yeah.
I love design. I love design in this game, bro. It's so good.
In the future, we're going to do a podcast about how the characters, their abilities in the game reflect their abilities in the series. And I only just realized, Hibari's a sniper. She comes in, snipes it. That's awesome.
Yeah, he just gets it. She just gets him.
But no, I think Helmeppo is one of those cards that I think will definitely piss people off. Because is Helmeppo like locked or color locked in any way? Can you just play any Navy card?
It's sword. You can only play sword. So it's only really good in this deck.
That's a lot better. Thank God.
And
if it was any Navy card, it would be really bad.
Yeah, the 8-cost Garp is not sword, by the way. So
you're right.
8-cost Kobe is the only bomb that you can play off of it. So either way, I think we probably got our thoughts covered on Kobe for now. We can talk about
doll's not sword at the end. You can't play the doll. Okay. Yeah, so I guess you really just want to play Hibari or Kobe, which I think are still both super strong options.
Both seem really good.
Yeah. And late game you might play doll into Helmeppo, play Kobe, to make your like brand new searcher attack the thing that you set down. Like it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be really good at killing the board. We'll see how good it is at killing the opponent. So let's talk about Jinbei. So going from red to green. So Jinbei, if I remember, or Jaden, how about you say it?
Okay, cool. I think Jinbei is the top of my head, so I might be wrong. Probably not because I'm the GOAT. But if you have 6 or less cards in hand, at the end of turn, restand a Fishman and restand a Dawn.
A Fishman or a Merfolk character.
Or Merfolk. Those are the same thing.
So green Jinbei is one of the archetypes that we have seen the least cards for and are getting the least cards for. Like it's getting 1 SR, it's getting a new Jinbei. And I think it's just supposed to kind of use the cards we've gotten over time for Arlong and Hody, which the Hody package sucks. Like it doesn't suck, it's just very it requires Hody your leader, or else it's just not great.
Yeah. I think we just have to give up on the new Fishman Pirates archetype, except for 7-cost Hody Jones. Everything else can just be put in the trash. Like that's never getting touched. No one's gonna save that leader. He's just gonna get. Yeah. I think Brandon has a character isn't popular. They make the deck bad on purpose. I don't know why they do that. They can just make it mid. They don't have to make it bad. But they're like, no, let's make it bad. I'm like, please don't make it bad. Just make it mid. Like Caesar Clown and Hody Jones are like the unlikable people leaders. Like they just get pushed to the side and then like, all right, cool, we made the leader. Don't ask for it again.
Their designs are still good though, which is funny. Because like they still those ones still like reflect their characters really well. Like Hody sucks away his own life. Caesar does like
poisoning you. I guess you're getting weaker. I see the vision. I don't like what I'm seeing with the vision though.
Yeah. Either way, so I think there's only like 3 cards really to talk about for Jinbei specifically, which is the SR. So that's a 6-cost 8K with 2 abilities. It has on play if your leader is Fishman or Merfolk, because all these cards are also designed for Shirahoshi. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less, and then activate main once per turn. You can make one of your Fishman or Merfolk attack a character as if it had rush. So that's pseudo rush thing for characters. So it's kind of like Kobe. It lets you
his
hit their characters.
Is so good. It kind of makes up for the fact that there's only 1 SR. Like,
it's,
I also don't know why they do this either. It's like you don't have to listen to your own SR rules. You could have printed another one. You're gonna print like a shitty common that's worth like -3 cents. You could have printed another SR to encourage me to buy the set. You don't have to. You make an arbitrary rule of how many SRs you can print, and you're like, we have to stick to that rule no matter what. You don't. You can put more SRs in the set.
Yeah.
You
Honestly,
don't have to make
it's gonna be commons, not rares. Even, especially not SRs.
What'd you say?
I think searchers should be commons, not even rares, much less SRs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's especially because this game isn't even built for like draft, like Magic. And like in Magic, like them being rares makes sense. I'm so frustrated that two of the new searchers are SRs. Like the pudding that we'll talk about later. Just why?
They're super searchers. That's the archetype, bro. You don't like a super searcher?
It's just annoying that cards that are relatively expensive are going to be harder to access. Because like the pudding searcher, I want like 8 of them because I want all of them for Katakuri and I want all of them for pudding. So
I'm kind of up and down for the yellow versus the purple. Okay, we'll save this for later.
Yeah.
But let's take Jinbei. I like Jinbei. I think Jinbei has the best stat line for a 6 cost. AK power is great. Whatever's on the board, you're hitting it. It's dying. You're getting hit with the 8. I think that being able to give every other fishman you play character rush is super good. This just seems designed to just abuse what's his face, the flamingo. Like I'm swinging like 2 over your bodies. Period. Like I'm swinging 2 over. Every time, like if I get more of these guys on the board, bro, and I get to play multiple characters a turn, I'm swinging hard. You're gonna get hit.
And I think it's
cool.
I think this card will be kind of neat in Shirahoshi too, just because we'll get to that more in a bit. But while it doesn't give Sea King's rush, it gives it Merfolk, which includes like the new Neptune, and I imagine we're gonna get like cards for like Fukuboshi and Manboshi, and I forget the third brother's name. So if those are any good, Shirahoshi will love it too.
Is the third one Mamboshi?
Did I say Manboshi? Wasn't that the second one?
Oh, I don't know that.
I don't remember their names.
The singing one, I think.
Yeah, he's Mamboshi, right? Because he does the Mambo.
Oh, Mambo, yeah. I don't. Then the third one, I
don't know. They're whatever characters. They don't matter to us. But yeah, no, I like it. I think the Fisher Tiger says that if he were to get removed, you pay 1 and then you play a 4 cost. My only problem is that like the Jinbei is really strong. I like the Arlong. I think those are both good cards. Just playing that 7K for 4, it's pretty good. That's one of the Arlong cards. Is there anything else? I keep yawning. I need to stop doing that. I don't know why. But the Arlong is more good in the Arlong deck instead of the Jinbei deck because just playing it's just a 4.
Explain what the Arlong does. So it's a 7 cost 7K 1K counter. If your leader is a fishman and you have 3 less life, and your opponent has 5 or more rested cards on their board, which includes their Dawn, it's a 4 cost card in your hand, which means Arlong can play it from hand. It means Fisher Tiger can summon it when he dies. Which is very on theme for like that art, like that works. He also has a trigger to rest one of your opponent's 4 cost or less characters, which again means he works in Arlong. And we'll talk about legacy support for older leaders later, but just basically being a 4 cost 7K is nuts. Just very above rate. You have ways to sneak it out. Its condition is very easy to meet. So the Arlong card seems really strong.
I like this 3-card package. It seems strong. It seems well designed. It's all designed to work together. But it's just 3 cards. I don't think 3 cards makes a deck. You know, like you run Kami Searcher. You run the 1 cost event. The one where Zoro is cutting Pika in half, like three Triskelion worlds, whatever.
Yeah.
Like 8 or more rested things on the board. You get plus 4K. You definitely run that in 1 cost event. They'll probably give him a second, like a guard point for green, a green fishman guard point. But like still, like all those cards, I'm like, you're still, I feel like missing meat and bones. Oh, like Horny Jones too. Okay, you run Horny Jones too.
Yeah. Like there's something there. It's kind of like Kelgara, where it's a deck that it just doesn't look like it's going to get a ton of love in its own set. But there's enough cards that kind of put it together. Like Kelgara, like was like a tier 2 meta deck. Like it wouldn't win events, but it was really strong.
Yeah.
So I could see Jinbei also getting a little bit more love over time. There's like this random stuff, like you can play, it's going to say the vanilla from the green film package, but that's a 2 cost 4K, so not really good.
Hopefully in set 12, they just print strong Jinbei cards that are green and also Straw Hat. That way PG Luffy and Jinbei can both get support.
Yeah.
Just generic. They are afraid of ever printing good generic green cards. Like they don't like to do it. They're just like green. Yeah. We gave you Kid in set 1, and then that's it, bro.
And Hody. They got
Hody. Green. Yeah, Kid and Hody. Yeah. Like I think green gets 1 good card a set, and that's it.
Yeah, and like they don't work well together.
Green has like absurdly like powerful bombs.
Yeah, like 9 cost Zoro.
Yeah, 9 cost Zoro, Doflamingo. Yeah, 8 cost Kid. Hody. I mean, like we're just listening to Bonnie deck at this point, right? Like it's just Bonnie. Like Bonnie's just a green like defensive. It's just a defensive leader ability that just sets up for a like just drop bombs end game. And you just abuse like, power of different bombs to like for each. It's just like a bomb box deck, right? Like you just pick the right bomb for the situation, right? That's just
well. Let's talk about our other green leader then, because we have green yellow Shirahoshi, and this is funny because we got a leader who can't attack. And I think as time has gone on, the leaders who can't attack have been slowly getting better. Like Iceberg was the first one, and he was awful. They gave him more cards that are easily playable, but still not great. Then we got Rebecca and Vivi. Vivi not really great, but Rebecca was pretty strong.
Could have been tier 1 if not for the Cat of Curries.
Yeah, Vegapunk was really good.
Rebecca was only winning in Japan because the Japanese players are bad. I do not know how that deck was topping there.
They were
when it came to the West, bro. I was just curb stomping that leader. I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, we also got the experience of like learning what their meta evolved into, so we had a lot more knowledge coming in. They had to learn it. That deck, I think it was like Sakazuki, where it changed a lot over time in the very beginning, a little bit, just because people weren't sure what cards to play. But
I think it's a
but yeah, now we have Shirahoshi. And Shirahoshi is kind of more like Vegapunk, and Iceberg, where she summons out big bodies randomly. Because she can summon out Megalo.
You want to read the effect?
Oh yeah, so we didn't read that one. Yeah. So Shirahoshi is a 5-cost 2-color leader, but can't attack. And once per turn, you can rest 1 Dawn and flip the top card of your life face up to play a Sea King or Megalo from your hand onto the battlefield if it has cost less than or equal to your Dawn. So currently, we've not seen any Sea Kings with cost greater than 5 yet. We can go over the Sea Kings quickly each, but some of them are decent.
Some of them are decent.
But
Shirahoshi will sit at the bottom of the tier list. She'll go in the trash with all the other non-attacking leaders. Vegapunk is the only good non-attacking leader, and that's because they give him like 5 SRs.
Yeah,
Shirahoshi's not getting a single SR. She's going to be bad. She's getting the Calgara treatment where they're like, oh yeah, you can cheat out big monsters, but we're not going to give you big monsters. So have fun cheating out 5 costs. That's going to be great for you. I don't like the design of Shirahoshi. They include this leader, I feel like, because they have to hit like a 6 leader minimum to push the set. It doesn't feel inspired. It feels very weak. All the cards I've seen so far, like the only thing, the best card I've seen so far has been Lure of the Coast. And you run Lure of the Coast in Arlong. Lure of the Coast is like a 4/5.
Yeah, Lure of the Coast is a 4 cost 5k with 1k counter on play after one of your opponent's rested characters don't become active during your opponent's next refresh phase, and has trigger to KO one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 3 or less. So I know that we talked that this is probably way better in Arlong than Shirahoshi because it's another 4 cost. It's something that it's an East blue card, so it's searchable by like the green Nami. And freezing something is huge because there's no cost limit on what it can freeze. So it's like Arlong's 5 cost money.
Yeah.
So that seems huge.
Yeah. But I don't know if we have to spend a lot of time on Shirahoshi. I think we all know that she'll be bad. The non-attacking leaders are almost never good. I think the highest placing non-attacking leader ever was Rebecca, and like right during the beginning of set 4, I think it was a big Japanese tournament. And then Vegapunk, who got like top 8 in like set 5.
Yeah. I played Vegapunk for a while.
Set 7, right? Right before set 8.
Yeah, I think there's just one card I did want to mention, which is the Neptune, because he's a 5 cost 7k, no counter, and he flips the top of your life face down to draw 2 cards and trash 1. So he has a vanilla stat line, and he has card draw and he's a body, and he can reset Shirahoshi's trigger. I think he's going to be the key component of Shirahoshi decks. But yeah, I don't see this deck going anywhere unless we get big Sea Kings.
10 cost.
It doesn't look like we're getting that.
I don't understand. This is like a flavor fail because this is a Sea King. Shirahoshi arguably is a top 5 character in the verse, strength wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean like Trusty's Neptune? Poseidon?
Yeah, bro. Have you seen the Sea Kings, bro? Like 5 of those motherfuckers are like, that's like hard work right there. You're not beating 5 of those like easily. They show up, she's crying, bro. They're like, they take up the whole screen or the whole manga panel, bro. They're like, oh, what's up? You good, bro? She's like, I'm fine. They're like, all right, you better be fine. She's like a top 5 character in the verse. She is. Like,
I'll be honest. I don't think the Neptune card's very good. I think
I don't think it's great. I think it is critical in her deck. It also only works for Shirahoshi. I think it'd be a good card for putting if it wasn't leader locked.
I think that turning your I think basically if a card has no counter, you're saying I have to play this card, or else it's dead, or else I didn't draw a card for turn, or just this is a nothing card, right?
Mhm.
It does sync with her abilities really well though, and it can get pseudo rush with Jinbei. So that's kind of where I'm coming at.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't do enough to control board or push an advantage state. It's like way too slow. I think the metagame is too fast to play like a vanilla on 5, basically.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I see exactly what you mean. It's hard to the non-attacking leaders basically say that if you play the game and the game is 6 turns long, your opponent gets to draw 5 cards. If the game is 7 turns long, your opponent gets to draw 7 cards. Because that's 6 hits they don't have to take, which is 7 cards they can keep in their, or 6 cards they can keep in their hand. So the leader ability has to be so cracked that it equals out your opponent getting a draw 6 or a draw 5 or a draw 4.
You saying that makes me think that it'd be funny to have if your Hoshi had like an ability of all of your characters have Vanish.
That would be cool. I think if Shirahoshi was an 8 life leader, we can make it work.
8 life?
8 life. They're all bad. They're all bad. It's okay if you're cracked because they're bad. Nothing Bandai has ever done has made them ever meta. They like pop up every once in a while as flavor of the week and they fall off. They're all bad. At this point, if I was Bandai, I would just start putting insane stats on the cards. I would be like 6 life leader, 7 life. I mean 6k leader, 7 life. I can't attack, but deal with that.
You know what's really sad actually is that if you play any removal based leader too, if you ever basically with the removal, if they don't have any rush characters,
they die.
Like they do nothing that turn, right? They just don't push an advantage state at all because they can't attack. I mean, I guess they have pseudo character rush in this deck.
Yeah,
but I remember
they could maybe use like 7 cost Hody, 5 cost yellow ace, like to get some like real rush, but it almost certainly won't be worth it.
I mean, I've played against Vegapunk so many times with Lucci, and I've just been like, if I ever clear their board, they like literally cannot do anything.
Yeah, you lose the game, and that's why the leader who can't attack is bad. Because it's like now you're basically just playing goldfish with yourself. Like you can't play the game. I have 20 bodies. You're gonna get smacked. Shirahoshi would be cool if she was an 8 life leader with 6k power. Then I think she might actually see play for real.
Oh yeah,
but where she is now, nah.
Okay, well in that case, let's move on to our Straw Hats. So we have our 2 blue leaders. We have blue purple Luffy and blue yellow Nami, which are the ones that I'm the most excited about.
Cool, you want to start off with Luffy then?
Yeah, so let's start with blue purple Luffy. So he is a 6k leader, which it's funny that he's like red purple Luffy. So he's blue purple, 6k, 3 life, like red purple Luffy, who has at the beginning of your turn, if you have 8 or more Dawn, which is before you get new Dawn. So you have to start with 8. You look at the top 5 cards of your library or deck, pick one of them that's a Straw Hat and put it in your hand. Put the other 4 in any order on the top or bottom, which means it's a perfect leader to work with Blue Sanji, which is a character I love using. You get just free card advantage. You basically just draw 2 cards every turn late game, which is just like this insane amount of inevitability. You can use Gum Gum Giant. As long as you don't go below 8, you're fine. And yeah, it just seems nuts. You could like 9 cost Big Mom into 9 cost Luffy, 9 cost Sanji into 9 cost Luffy or Big Mom. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and he's a lifelong Magic player, bro. He's gonna say library a lot. You guys.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I think it's funny. I think it's funny what he does.
I mean, I've been playing Magic over 20 years. It's hard.
If Doflamingo gets nerfed, I think blue purple Luffy has a chance. If he doesn't get nerfed, then I think it's hard for him.
I think Doflamingo would slaughter this deck, like just like whole. Like there's no 3 life. I see a 3 life leader, and like it doesn't have. I mean, I guess the blue. I don't know how the deck would be built, but it seems like it's. Like how would it survive to the late game? I guess it's like we have to find the right build for it.
You pray.
It just depends also how fast you could ramp. Because like you probably play the 3 cost Zoro that ramps. You'd probably be running Bond Clay. You might run like Miss All Sunday even. I think that's probably a bit of a reach, but you were just so desperate to like probably start on the even curve and ramp twice, so that by your turn 3 you are already turned on.
Like if I'm playing Doflamingo and I see my opponent like basically ramping is the same as playing a vanilla, right? Like they're not doing anything to control board. Like they're basically expending all their Dawn for turn to just like get 1 more Dawn for the next turn. Like and if they're gonna swing like 6 or 7 into me or my board and like basically just play a vanilla that turn, and I'm playing Doflamingo and I can just bounce their I can bounce them like Mr. 2 or whatever. Like or like Zoro Juro, whatever they're deciding to play. I am like so chilling. Like I get a board for free. They're doing nothing to control a board. By the time they even get to 8 Dawn, I'll have like 5 characters on board and just like swinging at them the whole time. Like I think this deck gets slaughtered by Doflamingo, like just straight up.
I think this could have definitely been a 4-life leader. They want to stick to the flavor of the 3-life leader, but I think where the meta is right now, they just power creep it. It's fine, bro. Like
I like that they're sticking to some rules of like vanilla stat lines and like you like we were just saying with Shirahoshi. It's a 5. Like if you're a 2-color leader, you only have 5 life if you can't attack. If you're a 3-life leader, you have to have and if you're 6K,
she can be 8, bro. She's a yellow leader. Yellow leaders get to break the rule.
No, only Whitebeard is the only one that gets this call to go ham and be 6K 6 cost.
No, Vegapunk breaks the rule. Anel breaks the rule. Therefore, 2-life leaders.
They break the rule going down though, not going up.
No, but it's fine.
Just because they heal so easily.
If you're a non-attacking leader, I'm sorry. If you're a non-attacking leader, your opponent gets to draw 6. Let me have 8 life, so we can at least draw the same amount of cards.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the cards that will maybe help this deck survive against decks like Dofi. And first, I think we should talk about the Seeker Luffy. So it's an 8 cost 8K. It has Rush. And when attacking, you can discard a card from your hand to bounce a 4-cost character to their owner's hand. Then you can attach a Rested Dawn to any of your characters or leaders. This is like kind of a counter to Dofi in the sense of like it'll bounce their Weevil so that they have to invest Dawn to attack you. Which it's amusing that it's like the Impel Down 7-cost blue Luffy that it's like discard a card to like bounce a thing.
I like this card. I think it's better in Doflamingo and Boa than it is in this blue Luffy deck. I mean, if you can play it off Sanji, cool. But like, it just sounds so good in Doflamingo. You can leader ability and then play this Luffy, and then Boa, you can play it, discard the card. You basically cycle one, and then you get Rush. It sounds so good in those decks. This deck I feel like needed like good removal. The good removal spells. Like I wouldn't mind if they printed like a blue Straw Hat Grav Blade. That's like a 5 that bottom decks 2 4s. But 4 Straw Hats, I think that'd be cool. Or it did. I think Nami Blocker's good for helping.
The new Nami Blocker we should also explain. So that's the other blue, or one of the blue SRs. There's 2. It's a 5-cost 6K with 1K counter blocker. And on play, if your leader is multicolored, you draw 3 and then put 2 cards from your hand on the top or bottom. Yeah. So it's really good in Nami. It's really good in Luffy. But it's really good for a bunch of other decks like Marco and Ace.
I think this blocker allows you to be a lot more greedy with your deck building, because now if you just have a bunch of bricks in your hand, you're like, I'm bottom decking these. I don't want to.
Yeah, you throw them away.
Yeah. So I think that's nice. I think the deck needs more defensive tools. We haven't seen any blue Fire Tank Pirates that we'll get with the Searcher. So hopefully some of them are defensive, more defensive. Because Beige, like historically in the card game, has been a defensive card. So I'd imagine that his packages would also be defensive. So hopefully they stick to that.
To be clear, you're talking about the new blue 1-cost Searcher Beige that searches for a 2-cost or greater Straw Hat or Fire Tank Pirate.
Yeah.
It's the blue version of that purple law.
Yeah. So hopefully that works out. The new Sanji seems okay as like a 6-Dom play. Like at least you get the guarantee that you get to keep the body or keep a body.
Yeah, so the new Sanji is the other SR. So he's a 6-cost 7K, Smoke and Straw Hat. So you can technically use him for Enrage You, but probably not. And it has, whenever this character would be KO'd by an opponent's effect, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and play a Straw Hat card with a cost of 5 or less. Then place the rest on the bottom. And on play, you also bounce the 5 cost to their owner. Or sorry, a 5K body to their owner hand.
Ooh.
A 5K original power. So you can like bounce like a card like Orsolino that has more power on defense.
Mm-hmm.
They put a bunch of those in the red Punk Hazard archetype. So it'll be good against that stuff. So good against red green smoker.
Yeah, I don't like the bounce. I don't know why it's power based and you can't change the power. Why do make it cost? It's blue. You can't change the cost. Like getting rid of 5K seems so mid sometimes. Like if it was bounce historically goes even, right? Cool. You don't want it to go even because it's a secondary effect that you can't really guarantee. That's fine too. Make it a 6K. A 6K is an okay stat line. Like there's gonna be a 6K on the board somewhere.
I mean,
a 5K, like unless you're playing it on curve, you're not. It doesn't do anything. It's basically a vanilla, right? It's a 6/7 vanilla. Because if they don't pop it, and if they don't have a 5K, it's a vanilla. I don't like the card design for the card. I think it should be cost. I think it should be a 6 that bounces a 6. The same way the SR Doflamingo is a 7 that bounces a 7. I don't think that's broken. I think that's perfectly fine. Because the other effect you can't even guarantee, right? So like if I'm just okay with you having the 7K body on the board, or if I want to just swing into it, cool. Then it's basically a vanilla. I think the card's very
play a new 7K though, because it could just like bring out the new Sanji pudding, and then you have another 7K body. I think.
Is it when it's KO by an effect, or if it's KO by combat?
By effect, so it is kind of reasonable. Where it's like it's kind of unusual. Like you only get this and that, and for that kind of reason. I don't know how many people are going to be KOing 6Ks or 6 cost characters. So yeah, I think you're right that it's not that valuable.
I think this card is too slow to play on 6 Dawn.
Yeah, I think this card's awful. I don't think this card will see like any play.
But that means the OR will be cheap for my Sanji collection, so that's good for me. Yeah, he's squeezing the bag in the art, bro. He's getting the fry. He's glazing the outside.
Yeah, I think those are really the only notable cards to talk about for Luffy. I know there's that new blue card, or for Luffy that we should really talk about is that new like gear 2nd card that like lets you ramp if your leader's also
the manga event.
I think
I love the manga events. I think that's such good sign space for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think it's really funny that we finally got like the first like 2-color card. That I just wish they made it 2 colors. Make it purple and blue. That would be cool. Like we already have leaders.
Yeah.
Why not? Oh yeah, it's a purple card. It's a purple card that cares if you're blue, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for this leader. It works. You still get the counter event if you're only purple, which is or purple and another color. So it could still be good in other purple Straw Hat decks or just purple decks. It'll be good in the sealed pre-release, but it's just weird otherwise. But it is a 1-cost 3K counter, which
it's good in the beginning of the game and it's guard point in the late of the game. I think it's fine. The card's never really dead for purple Luffy. I feel like it's good in purple Clock too.
You can't. Oh, the OP1 blue purple croc.
Yeah, where it gains like where it just keeps getting it can just keep drawing cards, right? Yeah.
I think it's good in those 2 decks. Everything else, I think it's there's the other purple leaders are Reiju, Kaido. That's it. Yeah, it's only good in those 2 leaders then. That sounds like a cheap manga card to me, bro.
Yeah, I'll double check. But we should move on to Nami. I think we already talked about most of the Hannibal. We missed Hannibal. I knew there was one more.
Oh yeah.
But we didn't talk about, and we talked about all the blue cards for Nami. And we talked about we hinted at Nami's effect, but we didn't go over it precisely. So Nami is a 2-color blue-yellow leader who is a 5K, and she has 2 abilities. So the first one is on defense. Once per turn, you can discard a card to give her plus 2,000 power for the entire turn, and then the entire like defensive turn. And the other ability is on your turn. If either player loses a life and you have 7 or less cards, you draw a card or draw 2 cards.
Draw 1 card,
right? Yeah, which means if you use a card like Thunderbolt, that would just like you lose a life, you kill something, you also draw a card. Or if you use something like 6-cost Robin and they lose a life, you draw a card. Or 8-cost Kid, they lose a life, you draw a card. This seems insane to me.
Yeah,
I
think this is the game's first real burn leader. I think you can actually run burn in this and be fine. Just because you can run a bunch of those bricks and it doesn't really matter because you can just pitch them for a 7K ability. The way I would build this is like probably not the most efficient way, but I'll just run burn. I'm running Basil Hawkins. I'm running 6 Mom. I'm running 7 Mom. I'm running 8 Kid. I'm running the new the 6-cost Robin from set 9. And I'm just playing burn. I think because it's like, all right, cool. I'm burning you. You're not getting card advantage. I'm getting card advantage, and then I'm a 7K leader. So you're either gonna hit me or you're gonna pop this board. All these bodies I'm playing, they're going to burn your life, and you just have to deal with one of these. Like, I don't know. To me, I feel like burn is always like a very interesting archetype in the game. I thought Piss Kid would be the first like real burn leader, but he doesn't really play that strategy too much. He plays really just like a stall wall deck, which makes sense.
Yeah, Robin kind of is. Robin just didn't see play in the meta.
Yeah, Robin needs a starter deck. That's what will make her good.
Yeah,
a banished leader Robin eat your opponent's hand, right? Like I think if she had more like tools for controlling board itself, like I was just so scared of like Robin just giving you a 0-card hand like every game, right? Like you just cannot develop any kind of like card advantage against Robin if it came down to that.
Yeah. Well, we only have like one card to talk about that we haven't talked about yet for Nami, which is the new yellow Zeus. So it's a 2K counter 2-cost, which on play it has you lose a life KO 5-cost, so it's Thunderbolt again, but it doesn't have trigger, and it's a 2K counter.
This card scares me a lot.
Crazy.
This card scares me a lot because I feel like if they don't touch Moria in the ban list, this card just makes BY the best deck in the format.
Yeah, it's gonna be insane.
Read on.
That's one more reason why I think they might ban Moria.
Towards your win condition. Draws a card, so you're basically going -1 only off of it. If you use Ice Age with it, you pop a 10 cost and you get closer to 0 life. This card to me is just cracked in BY. Like this is like the best card for BY. Like BY could have just ever asked for. And if they don't touch BY on the ban list whatsoever, I feel like okay, cool. Your Nami's a 7K leader. I'm a 9K leader. Like now, guess what? Guess what has the card? Guess what's the advantage now? And then whatever you play, that Rush Luffy, whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna give you a Supple Blocker. Then the Sanji into Rush Luffy, I still don't care. I'm just gonna give you 2 Supple Blockers, and then I'm just gonna pop one of them next turn. It seems to me that this card is just. I feel like they just forget how BY plays. Like I feel like they don't see how BY is designed. Because I feel like there's turns, right? I know we're supposed to talk about Nami, but I just like the Zeus card to me is. There's times when you play Moria, right, and you have 1 life, so you can't do 2 babies. So you play like a Flampe or a Hiyori to get rid of that last life. Now, bro, you Moria into this, take that last life, you fucking just throw it to the bottom of your deck, pop something, and then you can leader ability to go back to 7K 1 life. That seems so good. Like every instance that you would play Zeus and BY seems good to me. Like I don't really ever see a time where this is a bad card.
I think it'll also be really good in the Big Mom pirate decks since it's searchable.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll be fun meme decks with yellow Big Mom because it's a homie and there's some weird homie synergies you can do.
Yeah.
So you can have like Hera eat that Zeus to restand your Big Mom.
Yeah.
Like you're like it's. I think this card's crazy. I'm wondering if we're going to see more. As for Nami, though, I think there's one card that we wanted to bring up that's going to be really clutch in this one, and that's the 2-cost Nojiko. Which, like Zeus, it's 2 cost. Deal with a 5 cost. It bounces it to your opponent's hand, but it's incredibly powerful. And it only made sense in Nami because that was a deck that didn't care about like attacking; it was just defense. This time, it matters.
Yeah, for sure. Which makes me hate the Sanji Secret Super Rare even more because this fucking 2-cost card is bouncing a 5. The Sanji can't even bounce a 5. They're like. Only if you play a 5/5, like, okay, cool. If you play a 5/5, every 5/5 is standing like that because the effect is crazy. I don't want to bounce a 5/5 back to my opponent's hand. You know what I mean?
You don't want them to get the unplay again.
Like, if I'm bouncing Rocket Nami or Sabo back to their hand, those aren't good bounce cards to bounce, bro. I hate the Sanji. The Sanji's stupid. I don't know why it's that. It's so understated. Nojiko is crazy. You just run Nojiko instead. It's not searchable, but it doesn't matter.
I think,
bro. It's putting in work.
I think Jaden's right that like I think a burn deck would be an interesting way to build this deck. My concern is that I think this defensive leader ability is absurdly powerful because you can cheat your deck building, right? Like you don't have to run, you have to barely run any 2Ks now, right? Like you don't need 2Ks if you're going to be 7K.
You're like a 7K leader on defense.
Yeah. Like you can run so many bricks in your deck because bricks just turn into 2Ks, right? Like once per turn.
No, but the turn into 12K. It's a 12K brick. If they have 6 bodies and you pitch a brick and you become a 7K, that's 12K.
It could last the whole turn.
I think it's insane.
So for 1 card, you just get 2K for the entire turn, which is crazy.
I think you can build this deck so dishonestly.
Yeah,
like, I think you can build. I think you really like. I don't even know if you build it as burn. I feel like why not just chuck every broken like 9-drop and lower into this deck?
Yeah,
right. And
like,
just, I don't care, right? Like I'm just gonna play. Yeah. I'm just gonna play like I don't know, freaking like I don't know any.
You can play Blue Sanji into this, and I think the Secret Rare Luffy would actually be really good in this because then you tap, you discard a card to make sure you're low enough to draw cards. You hit them, they lose a life, you draw a card back, and you also bounce something to their hand, or bounce one of your own things to your hand, or use Zeus. Or what?
It gives you the Secret Luffy gives you a Dawn, so it enables the ability on curve.
Yeah, so I think it's
great. Oh, wait,
does Nami have to have a Donatash use the ability?
Yes.
Okay, I forgot about that. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, I think this leader is going to be awesome. I think, like you were just saying, Owen, there's like a lot of different ways you can build it. Like, I think just the burn way is going to be awesome. I think it'd be really nice to get a new banish card, a new yellow banish card, other than just the Nami, which you're probably going to play in this deck.
Nami, it's like Blackbeard, where it's like, oh, I have bricks in my hand. I don't care. I know I can deal with the bricks in my hand. I can turn the bricks into advantage. It doesn't matter if I have bricks in my hand.
Wait, Henry, I realize you can do what you were doing in Queen by playing. I don't think this is good, but you could play Teach in this to give yourself rested. Don't to use the leader ability. And just play like 10 drops in the deck anyways.
Yeah, and heal. You could heal into them. You can run 9-cost Yamato.
Yeah.
Loki, that sounds like tech.
Yeah. So okay, I think we got to move on to Katakuri.
Okay.
So Katakuri, he is our only monocolor leader of the set. Oh wait, no, sorry, Jimmy. He's a 5-cost. Jaden's so sad. Jaden, the yellow Katakuri stan, wanted purple cat to be good.
I love Cat. He is the GOAT. He's the coolest character in the show. He's just a cool biker who is real nonchalant and he cares about his family. He's just cool. He's 18 feet tall. He's the GOAT. I don't like the direction the card is going in. So in Magic the Gathering, there's a card called Sentai's Dividing Top, right? Sentai's Dividing Top lets you, I believe, put cards at the top of your opponent's deck on the bottom of the deck, right?
It lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reorder them.
Okay. I want an ability somewhere like that. We're
talking about like Lantern Control
on attack or on opponent's attack, down -1. Look at the top card of their deck, and then get 1,000 power. I think that's super mid, right? And the reason why I think that's super mid is that because if you're a good player, you don't need to know what's in your opponent's hand. You can guess with a pretty high likelihood what's in your opponent's hand. How they counter out, how many cards they have in hand, what turn it is, and what deck they're playing pretty much gives you 80% of the information you need to know what's in your opponent's hand. Me seeing the card doesn't really do much unless I'm like a fucking noob. Right? If you're a good player, like if I'm playing somebody and it's the final round, they have 3 cards in their hand and they pitch a 2K to a 5K attack, you have no 1Ks. I'm mathing you out. You're getting mathed. I don't need to see every draw for the last 3 turns to know that. I don't like that. If the effect was look at the top card and put it on the top or bottom, like Yellow Cat is for life, cool. I get the cost. The cost makes sense to me now. All right, it's good. I can control my opponent's top deck. I don't know what the next card is. The next card might save them, or it might not. Who knows? But if I'm gonna do this like every turn, bro, I don't know. Maybe they tried it. I think the designers of the game are bad at the game because they don't see things like Sakazuki or Law being broken, and then they see shitty abilities and they're like, "This is too good. We have to nerf this."
I think they designed with one set in mind, which is really weird for the leaders that don't care if like only these cards are multi sets.
Like I think the Luigi deck is just an amalgamation of like oversights with Rebecca and Moria, right?
Yeah, like I think that's where Sakazuki and Law came in. Like Sakazuki would design around the blue navy cards, not the black navy cards, and that's where everything spiraled.
It's crazy to me they don't design everything in totality because we're gonna play with totality. So designing in a vacuum doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. But
hindsight's 2020. We don't know what happened, and they're not going to tell us.
Cat is designed to be a wall deck. From the support we have, he's supposed to be a wall deck. He has his 8 cost, his super rare. It's a 8/8. It's a cat blocker, and it says at the end of your turn, restand 2 cards that are big one pirates, and then ramp Arrested Dawn, which is stupid.
The characters right? Top 3 or more.
I think it's stupid that late in the game to be ramping, you know?
I think it would be fine if it was an active Dawn, because the next card they showed off a couple days later is an event that says pay 1, get 5,000 power on counter if you know what the top card of your opponent's deck is, if you know what the cost is. So cool, you combine that leader ability. It's a 1 for 6. Awesome. The thing I don't like is that why is the blocker not giving me the active Dawn? Because it seems like a wall deck, but they're too chicken to make it like a real wall deck. Like it just seems that 8 cost cat seems like worst kid blocker to me. And I'm like, it's okay if you give me like a kid blocker size card and an open Dawn. That's fine, bro. Like I'm fucking sending 1 Dawn back every turn. I'm paying for it. Like if I want to use this effect to its maximum, I have to go so much Dawn minus. And then the Dawn minus rewards that they printed in the set are not that good, right? And then you have the 10 mom, Lizzie mom. I like Lizzie mom.
Yeah, so the 10 cost Big Mom, which is a rare.
It's a rare. So just like 10 cost, remember what they did to Big Buggy Boy. Remember, we don't forget. But Lizzie Mom says she's a 10/12 with Rush. On opponent's attack, -5.
If it's a Big Mom pirate leader.
These are leader locked. Yeah, sorry. But
it's not leader locked. Only the Rush is leader locked. It's like the new NL.
Oh, okay. Oh. All right, anyways.
Still a good card either way.
Lizzie Mom says, so I think Lizzie Mom is cool. If you have a board, she's a win more card, right? Because it says that on the crackback, your opponent just can't kill you because you do Dawn -5, you get plus 2K for the whole turn. You have to take half your Dawn away to get what Nami gets.
You have to guess the top card of the deck. You have to already know what it is. So it's Dawn -5, but you probably have to do Dawn -1 with Cat first. So it's 6 Dawn on your opponent's turn.
I don't
know. You get 2,000 for the turn. Well, 3,000 because you're going to use Cat's ability. But that's not worth losing 6 Dawn unless we get something like the defensive Black Maria. Like, I don't understand what's happening.
I don't understand either. I think they're so afraid of you chaining them back to back and the cost not being good enough, so you just become a 9K leader. But you're not afraid. Banner's not afraid of a 9K leader because they have it. We have a meta 9K leader already. I don't understand what the thought process is. They're like, oh, well, we didn't see BY coming up, so we got to make sure there's none other BY. I'm like, you don't care. You guys don't care. Just let me have my wall deck. Like, if you're gonna make a wall deck, commit to the wall playstyle. Right, cool. I burn a lot of Dawn to get the wall. Cool, that's fine. But don't make it like to a certain amount where it's like if I have to use this to survive, I just have no turn next turn. Like I don't have any plays. I think it's so bad.
I think Yeah, I think there's a chance we're underestimating the power of 8-cost blocker category just because, like, you theoretically can cheat it out with the little kid category, so you can play like 2 of them on your 10-Dawn turn.
You can, but they have to. Your opponent has to also be on 8-Dawn.
Yeah,
right?
and they probably will at that point.
You don't want to play that fair game. You want to cheat, and you want to get to 10 faster.
You want to be cheating, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, there are ways that you might be able to like do category into double category, like stupid things like that. And then you really have access to a lot of that Dawn. So there might be a way to do it. Having 8K blockers is huge. And I think the restanding 2 things might be better than we expect. I just am very disappointed by this. And this leader, I was really hoping to be a purple-black leader that would have rolled into black-yellow Big Mom from OP3 because I really like that leader.
I think I have a hot take in that. I think this deck is actually like not bad at all.
I think the rush Big Mom's crazy.
No, I think this deck is
the other power creep in the set.
I think this deck is good, and I'll explain. I think the reason is that it has basically, as we know, like 2 leader abilities like Nami, right? It has it when attacking and on defense, and I don't think that Dawn Minus is a big cost because of they printed freaking Black Maria, right? Like if there's a cheap way to just get 5 Dawn, right? Like it's just crazy, right? Like you can get and I think there is enough like re-ramp cards, like you can just play like Pudding or Kid. And like Black Maria, I think like having enough of that package is fine enough to like get Katakuri, like because you're generating a lot of free value, right? Like if you're forcing your opponent to swing 6K into you, like at a leader, it's like a mini Shanks leader ability, but it doesn't have like the absurd top end of Shanks. Like it is, I think it has enough flexibility on defense and offense to like at least like generate advantage until the late game. I'm just not convinced its late game is as convincing as I would like it to be. It has the 1-cost event, which I think is like well statted. It's not as good as like Gum Gum Giant, but I think it's well statted, right? Like it's crazy statted, right? Like we all know it's crazy.
It's the biggest defense for 1K event ever.
Yeah, and you have to swing. Yeah, to guarantee that you're gonna get a KO, you have to swing 12 minimum, which I think is a good deterrent, right? To stop people from pushing for game, right? Because if you have 1 standing down, even if you don't have it, you just fake it. And if they know they can't swing 12, you probably just stall for the next turn, right?
Yeah, I think though the fact that it's only for 1 battle and not for the whole turn is a pretty negative thing.
Yeah, especially because Kobe gets to be a 6K leader when he on the Helmeppo turns with the Kobe secret rare. Now he gets to be a 7K leader. Luffy is a 6K leader. I don't know why they're chickening out for Cat specifically. It's so weird to me. I think that's the thing that pisses me off. Like I think if Cat came out in set 10, I wouldn't really care too much, right? Because the set 10 leaders are a bit kind of lower power than set 11. But because he's coming out with all these cards where Bandai is clearly not giving a fuck, I don't know why they're giving a fuck specifically for him. That's the thing that irritates me, right? Because it's like Nami gets so much power for 1 card, but it's like I have to, and she's not even losing advantage because she draws so many cards. Whereas Cat, you have to constantly minus Dawn, which is an actual disadvantage in the early game because then you're going up by 1. So I don't know. Like I understand like if you go first, you go Pudding Switcher into 3-cost Pudding, into 5-cost Kid. Now your leader effect is ramping you now. But that's only if you keep the board, right? Which I don't know if you're going to. We'll see. Hopefully, like Henry was telling me about this the other day. Like hopefully they design this leader just like Purple Luffy, where they just keep giving you legacy support for it over time until it's like critical mass.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to mention is that I think the unfortunate part about Katakuri is that it doesn't really align with Purple Yellow Pudding. Like their cards do not help each other. Like the Rush Big Mom, like the bombs, the Rush Big Mom and the 8-cost category are going to be amazing in Pudding. And I think Yellow Purple Pudding is really going to love those cards. But beyond that, like they don't like the cards about Pudding that care about like flipping the top cards of your life down. Those won't help you ramp in Katakuri because you don't have any cards that flip them up.
Yeah, they occupy 2 different design spaces, which kind of irritates me because I would wish that they would occupy the same. I guess that's like less. What's the word? It's less diverse for the design of the game, but I think it's better for just the health of the leaders, right? Because then it makes you kind of less excited for the support if you know the support isn't helping you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, maybe they'll print like one day they'll print just like a purple black one that actually does care about both effects combined. But we'll see. Just like purple black Luffy cares about like the plus in cost and the ramping. But we'll see.
I think I think this will age well. Like Owen, like you were saying.
I think it's just
I think we should probably move on.
Ability. Yeah. I just want to say it's flexible. I think it has potential. I don't think it's good yet, but I don't think this is a bad leader by any standards.
Yeah, I think if they give you an actual payoff for the minusing, like if they say like You know how Magellan's leader ability works, where it's like if you minus Dawn, you get something, or Reiju is like that. If they give you cards that say when you minus Dawn, get something, I think all of a sudden this guy turns around. But where he's at,
Yeah, very strong.
Yeah, where he's at,
and that would be really good with the SR searcher pudding that you could do a minus Dawn, you get the card too.
Yeah, but that's really just
like
for
because that's
leader.
Stupid right now. Your leader already does it. Why do you need it again?
Yeah,
just so that you can use it in purple yellow pudding. I don't get it.
That card should have said pop this character, put the top card of your opponent's deck on the bottom. Then all of a sudden,
cool. That would have been awesome. Because that's what you were talking about. You were talking about Lantern Control in Magic.
Yeah.
Lantern Control was a deck in Magic where you were always allowed to look at your opponent's top part of their deck, and you can put it on the bottom or make them mill it, like put it in their trash.
Well, that was a form of control in Pokemon before too.
Yeah, and that was miserable to play against. But like in Magic, they have lands, so you can just make them draw nothing but lands.
Yeah.
One Piece doesn't have that problem. Okay, I think we should move on from talking about the leaders individually. Something I wanted to talk about is we missed talking about one of the SRs, which is the new yellow beige. He's a 2-cost, 1k power, 1k counter blocker with once per turn if one of your other supernova type characters would be removed from the board by an opponent's effect, you can just add it to the top or bottom of your life instead. This is going to be ridiculously good in Yellow Kid and Green Yellow Law. I don't really think it has any other homes unless 8-cost Kid is seeing a lot of play in, I don't know, like Robin and stuff like that.
If they print a lot more yellow Supernovas in this package for set 11, we might see Supernova Anel, but other than that, I don't think it's used anywhere else besides those 2 decks.
Supernova Anel sounds crazy.
I could see a black yellow Luffy deck that runs this because the starter deck Yellow Luffy is Supernova.
But that's just one card, right? And I feel like the opportunity.
It just is like a weird tech, just because it puts it into your life.
Yeah, but Fist Luffy in life is like really good still.
Yeah,
and it's face down, so you get it back to hand even if they hit you.
But Sabo just makes it so they can't pop them.
Yeah, so you probably wouldn't, but it's an option.
Yeah. You're right. You can play it. Do you? I don't know. I feel like you just run Zeus, and then you just whatever.
It would help you against Gravity Blade, I guess.
Yeah, protect you from Gravity Blade.
True.
We'll see. I like the beige. I think it's really helpful for Kid and Law. Yeah. I think Kid has a bad matchup against Yellow, so I think Piss Kid has a bad matchup against Black. So I think having more protection for your big bodies is super nice. Because if I'm playing my Law, right, I don't want to have it popped immediately. I want you to get through this 9k blocker, my Secret Law.
Yeah.
Like and then having a second little tiny blocker next to him makes it so he can't get rid of him. It makes him so much more annoying.
Absolutely.
Really sticky. So I think this will definitely help Kid a lot. This is also super good, I guess, for what's his name? Law. Because I think Law likes to play hide behind the kid game. And if you play 8-cost Kid into this beige, it's like, all right, bro, go ahead. Get rid of it. I dare you.
And you're set up to use the leader ability to keep recurring it.
Yeah. You said beige is yellow?
Yeah, it's a yellow beige. So it's support for the supernova leaders from OP10.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Right, it was on top of your life, bro. Of course it's yellow.
Of course it's yellow, bro.
The only thing that's weird is that the new beige, I think, can search for it. I think
beige can search for beige. So the blue beige can search for the yellow beige because those 1-drops, I think, only don't find other 1-drops, right? I know that Law can find Law.
Yeah, because the whole thing is that they just can't find another copy of the searcher because it has to be 2-cost or greater.
Yeah. The worst part about this beige is that it's a replacement. I mean, the best part about this beige is that it's a replacement effect, right? Like, so they can't.
Oh, you're so right.
They can't Lucci the Kid and the beige at the same time because it would protect both.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that's
okay. So as far as that was just the last SR that we missed. I wanted to talk about legacy support. So we already talked earlier about Arlong getting all the toys from Jinbei and Shirahoshi, just all those new trigger cards. We didn't talk about all of the
bro, for real. Like Arlong is the actual green leader.
Yeah, we didn't talk about all of the new trigger characters from Shirahoshi's package, some of the other big Sea Kings, but there's a lot of random good ones that'll be great for her and great for Arlong.
I think I think it's just Lord of the Coast, right?
I think there's at least one more, but I think we might get more. We'll see. It is the yellow portion of it.
All Arlong
but Lord of the Coast and Arlong are both great.
All he needs now is draw support. Once Arlong gets draw support, I think he becomes meta. You have a 4/7 body, you have stun, you have Kikunojo, and you have Basil Hawkins that heal you and take your opponent's life on KO. So you have like really sticky bodies.
You have
You just
Stun
need
and
draw.
Arlong.
Once Arlong gets the draw, I feel like it's over. Like he's gonna become a meta leader for once in his life.
You can play the Arlong that prevents your opponent's leader from attacking, and the
probably,
CP that like stops that that stuns, right? Like you can basically like if you can generate a board without them being able to remove the board through combat, that seems like a pretty good board position too.
Yeah, and that EV2 Arlong helps maintain that as well because like you can just stick that on their new bomb or whatever, and they can't attack or block with it.
Yeah, that's what Owen was talking about. That was the one.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, he was talking about the 4-cost 6K that makes it so your opponent can't attack. Oh, sorry, my bad.
You're good. It's Arlong, and Arlong.
Yeah.
It's not easy to keep in mind.
As far as some other leaders, before the big one I want to talk about, I think we talked about Zeus. I think it's just going to be good in almost any yellow deck. Mm-hmm. I think Garp, being the other red, black, navy leader, might be able to take advantage of some of the Kobe support cards. But Garp cares about cost, while Kobe cares about power. So I don't know if there's a lot of synergy there.
Well, hopefully we get a stage, right? So that Garp can play the Garp. That would be super nice.
That would be awesome. It'd be interesting if they like fuse the mechanics through the stage also, like where it's just Garp's ship, because that would fit the theme of the Hachinosu arc as well.
Oh, right. It should be the big dog.
Yeah.
Is that what the ship's called?
But it's not. But that's it, right?
Dude, I don't know if we have a name for it. I don't think a lot of Navy ships have names.
I'm like the big dog now. That's sick.
The big dog, yeah. So the leader I wanted to talk about is Reiju. Since this is a Whole Cake Island theme set, Germa is being featured. And Reiju got a few new cards, like the 6-cost super rare Sanji, but that one's not really going to be for Reiju. But the 2 cards I did want to talk about is there's a new 4-cost Reiju, who is a 5-cost 2K body that has on play. If your leader is a Vinsmoke, you search the top 5 for a Germa card, and then put the rest in your trash. This means since it's a 4-cost Reiju, you can play it with the little purple Reiju from the original set. It fills your trash. It draws you a card. I think this card is absolutely insane and is going to push this deck to new heights.
I think it definitely makes your consistency a lot better. So a lot of people were running the blue promo Vinsmoke Sanji, so you could have your last playset of
like Germa 2K.
Yeah. But that guy, he goes down.
Oh yeah, did I say this is a 2K counter? This is a 2K counter. This is bonkers.
It's an insane card. I think being able to fill your trash is like, this is what I mean, bro. Bad Night cares when they care. But being able to fill your trash and then pick out your Ichiji from the top 5 is so strong. It just adds a lot of consistency to the deck. Because there are times when you're playing Reiju and you're like, I can't find anything. I can't find nothing. But now it gives you 8 outs into your baby Reiju, and then these outs, all 8 of those outs help you dig into the deck deeper for more outs, right? For more combo pieces. I think it's great.
I think I think one reason why they're giving this deck more support is because it's such an insular theme. Like you can only use Germa cards with it. It can't use cards from other sets. So it is using Porsche, which is weird from Foxy. Like I get why, but that's like the only card, like the Porsche, like weird mini little Foxy.
You run random Foxy cards like Chopper Block, and that's it.
But yeah, for the most part, this deck can't get support from other cards. There's also Black Maria.
Yeah.
So if there's an opportunity to give it cards, you give it cards.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they printed a 5-cost baby judge that turns into big judge.
Yeah. So there's also a new judge. He's a 6-cost 8K with activate main once per turn. You could discard a card to give all of your Germa characters plus 1,000 power for the turn. I don't think Germa needs this.
Oh, you know what you could do actually? I just thought about this now. You know all those cards that say like you can cheat out based on your Dawn, right? Like you can just cheat that, so you can cheat that curve with Black Maria, right? If you like, for example, like if you play Baby Cat, you could like cheat out Big Cat.
No, Baby Cat is your
no, Baby Cat's your.
Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah,
I wish, bro. I wish.
Yeah, I think the new judge is not worth it. But with like the Sanji searcher they got in OP10 in this Reiju, I think Reiju is going to be a major meta threat again.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking back at, sorry, this is kind of random. I was looking back at the base arts, the leaders for this set. If they swap the alt arts with the base arts, bro, I think they would be like 1,000 times better. Like the base art for Cat is so gas. I hate this OP06 style. I liked it in OP06. They were good renders. The renders these time around look super AI. They look super. They're a little. I don't know.
I wish they were the manga characters,
but they're just.
The manga ones are always.
They're like overly rendered, right? They're like too smooth. They're too good. And I think that just bothers me a lot. I like Jinbei. I think Jinbei is the one who looks the coolest. Some people are like, "Why does Jinbei look like that?" I'm like, that's what he look like. If you got close to him, bro, he looks like that. That's what he looks like. Like that. Jinbei looks goated. I don't like the way Cat looks. I've never been happy with Cat leader all art. They always disappoint me. I don't know why they do this to me. It's so easy for him to just do anything with him. He has so many cool shots in the show. I'm glazing right now, I know, but I don't like it. The regular art is cool. Hopefully EV3 they reprint him as the gold version of this, because then I might actually use that card.
I like the girls. I think the Nami and Shiroshi look good.
Yeah, Shiroshi looks really good. Shiroshi is definitely the best looking one. Nami just looks kind of generic to me. Like she just looks like the regular alt, just in a different pose. The regular art, just in a different pose. And I think that's kind of mid. And I think the Luffy render for the base art set is straight out of. Is that Wano? It looks like it's straight out of the anime, but it's like a cell from the anime. You know?
I don't love it.
I think
then
the leaders is that they're just like. I think when they did it in OP06, like the colors were so bright, and they feel like they really like they really popped. You know, they had a lot of contrast in them. These feel so muted in comparison. You know what I mean?
I agree.
They're all really dark looking. They're all like the colors don't have enough contrast. Like Kobe kind of just looks like all one. Like he's just kind of like a really pinky color. You know, it kind of doesn't look very like not enough contrast on Kobe. They don't have any like unity together as like to form some kind of art style, right? And I think my main complaint is that I don't know why people don't like the Oda art, like manga panel ones, because even though you can just make them yourself by cutting out manga panels, I feel like they remind me of iconic moments in the show. Like I like in the manga, right? Like when I see like the OP11, like Red Green Law, I think like that's the time when he tells Doflamingo like he lived till his day to kill Doflamingo. I'm like, that's so sick.
That's how I feel when I see the ML art, because that's the one where he restarts his own heart, and I'm like, bro, you're not killing me, bro. I'm restarting my own heart, bro. Like you hit me down to 0, and I'm coming right back.
I feel like One Piece, the manga, to me feels like watching history unfold before my eyes, right? Like I feel like I'm witnessing something like historically important, and like realizing like seeing Oda's art on the cards like makes me feel like this is like that. It calls back like everything I love about the manga, and I feel like these just feel like it's just like someone who drew Kobe, just like he's just doing things, right? He's just chilling.
Yeah, I think that would be like SRs and rares and stuff, but I feel like high value cards like leaders and the mangas, they should only all be Oda's art. Because I feel like that's what we're here for, right? Most of the people who play the card game are big fans. Like whenever I meet somebody at locals who is not caught up, or everybody's either caught up or catching up. There's like 3 people who don't watch it at all, and I'm like, why are you here? And they're like, I just like to play the game. And I'm like, that's strange.
That's been one great thing about the card game is that one of my like oldest friends got into the One Piece anime finally because of the card game.
Yeah,
like she got interested in it because her friends that she was playing Pokemon with wanted to play the card game, and she's like, Henry's been saying this show's great forever. I guess I should finally give it a try. So now she's playing the card game and she's catching up. She's like most of the way through Dressrosa now. It's awesome.
Oh, she's my worst part. Oh, I can't wait for the One Piece, bro. Director's
I think she's reading the manga at this point.
Dressrosa is going to be gas.
Yeah. So I guess should we try ranking the leaders and then calling it there?
Yeah, sure. Oh, well, for that, I want to talk about Galaxy Impact. That's the one card.
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy Impact is fire. Galaxy Impact is Red Rock and Grab Blade combined. It's, I think, the best red card from the set.
I need to take a look at it. I know there's a new yellow removal one.
The yellow one is weird. So the yellow one says, put a 6 cost. It's 6 for 6. You put a 6 cost on the top or bottom of somebody's life. So it can be your 6 cost or your opponent's 6 cost. So it's 6 down, heal yourself, or 6 down, remove something from your opponent's side of the field. That's 6 cost.
Yeah. Wait, were you saying Galaxy Impact or Honesty Impact?
Oh,
Honesty Impact, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's 6 cost, give one of your opponent's characters minus 4K, and KO one of your opponent's 6K or less characters, and on trigger KO a 6K. So
this is good, bro, is that you can hit a 10K. I feel like there's times where like you have Grab Blade. Like when I'm playing Boa, I have Grab Blade and I have Red Rock. And I'm like, I only need one of these right now, right? Honestly, Impact is both. Because you can hit 10K, boom. But if there's 2 bodies on the board, one of them's rested, bro, I'm menacing 4001, popping the other one, and I'm swinging into the other one. That's 2 characters off the board. Just like
I feel Galaxy Impact is a good card in a vacuum. I just wonder like how much you can spec into Kobe as like, because I think it doesn't generate board like fast enough, and 6 tone is a lot for a no counter card to use for.
I think you play this in Shanks. I don't think you play this in Kobe.
Okay, that's fair.
You think?
Yeah,
I think I want it just because of the dispersion of like you being able to attack active characters. It might be worth it. We'll see.
Honestly, Impact feels like a win more card in Kobe. Because I feel like
that's true. Yeah, Kobe's good enough at killing them anyway.
Yeah, I feel like Shibari is all you really need to swing into a body to get rid of it. Like -2 is usually enough. -4, I don't know. But Shanks though, Shanks is a deck where it's slow enough where it's like, oh, I actually do want to pop 2 characters. And then this is really good in Shanks, because if you're going against Kobe, this only KOs one thing. But if you use it in the grab blade way, where you pop one thing, get something else -4, even if they use a replacement effect, you're still going to take one thing out. You're right, because like grab blade, if I use a replacement effect, I cancel the whole grab blade. Because the way this is worded, you can't cancel the whole thing.
Yeah, I
Something
think
has to get the -4, and then if you
Oh.
say the thing that's getting the pop, that's a 6K, whatever. Because I'm still swinging into whatever I get -4 to.
Oh, Jade, I think my beef with you ever play like Bo Hancock, guys, and you ever feel like, oh, I don't have a good time to play this Red Rock. It's just kind of burning a hole in your hand, right? Like you just kind of play blue decks, and you're like, Grab Blade and like Red Rock are so powerful, but like they're so powerful, but they are burning a hole in your hand. Like you just like have to play them, right? Like at some
you have
point,
to play Kaya to get rid of them, or you just screwed.
Yeah,
and
I think
I think in like Kobe or Shanks, you don't have a window for that late game.
Actually, you know what? I think you might be right, Owen. Now that I'm thinking about it, because why would I run this over Divine Departure?
I mean, my thing is with this card, you would not play this card if you because Kobe doesn't have a way to draw cards. Boa and Dofi can plus cards so aggressively, and you still like your Red Rock's still burning a hole in your hand. Kobe doesn't have a draw engine that like helps him like plus develop card advantage like Usopp does, right? I think Kobe like might just run out of cards, and I think running this card. I mean, we talk about running this card in Shanks, right? But I don't see a red deck where you would like run this. Like, there's no like really red control deck that isn't already based on character control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Grab Blade is so powerful as bottom deck, right?
I was thinking, why would I just not run Divine Departure over Honesty Impact? Because in Shanks, you would rather play Divine Departure because you win games at Shanks by holding like 3 events in your hand and then just having a boss monster on the board and bringing your opponent to 0.
Bro, that's how you lost on Thursday, dude.
That is how I lost on Thursday, bro. I had the board. This motherfucker had 3 events. And I'm like, no matter what I swing, I can't kill you. So I just get the L.
If you have another way to cost or power reduce though on board, like Gordon kind of effect, you could also just kill a boss monster though. So you can use it to destroy their like Rush Big Mom or something like that. So maybe if we get a new one like that, it could be worth it.
Yeah, you don't want to go 2 for 1 in a deck that doesn't have card draw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we should let's rank those leaders though.
Yeah, let's definitely.
I think we all agree that Shirahoshi's the worst.
Yeah,
Shirahoshi's the worst by far.
Shirahoshi's the worst.
Yeah.
I think the worst would probably end up being
probably Jinbei, right?
Probably Jinbei. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Luffy and Cat are tied for 3rd worst right in the middle.
I could see that.
Yeah. I just think that they lose to different things, right? I think Luffy is super weak in the early game and good in the late game. Cat, I feel like, is okay in the early game, but he takes way longer to get to his late game. It depends how you play.
He's a 5 life leader though.
That is true. That is true. I think I'll put Cat above
Luffy,
to be honest. I think being a 5 life leader, we've seen time and time again, saves a leader just on the face of having 5 life.
Yeah, like Luffy wouldn't be what he is if he was a 4 life leader.
Oh hell no! You would get ran over. Those decks would just get stomped. Okay, so I think I would put like Luffy as the 4th play. 6 is Shira, 5 is Jinbei, Luffy at 4, Cat at 3.
I think Nami's probably better than Kobe.
You think Nami's better than Kobe?
I think Nami's better than Kobe too.
Yeah, I think Nami's kind of busted. I think her ability being dependent, like being like I draw cards when I hit you for life alone is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else on top of it is also great.
I want to play Kobe, but I don't think it's. I think you're like dropping cards and you don't have a draw engine, right? Like you're dropping cards just to them, and like you have a defensive leader ability, which I guess saves you cards in the long term from defending your board. But at the same time, like you're not able to like really like hold to like, how do I say, like you're just hitting them a lot, and you have ways to prevent them from hitting you a lot, so you can just develop a stickier board. At the same time, you can't get tall enough to beat the tall decks, I don't think. And I don't think you go wide enough to beat the tall decks either with Kobe. Like I think Kobe beats black decks, and I think it beats like low to the ground like red decks, but I don't think it beats like the tall, like I don't think it beats the Bonnies, Shankses, or like Namis, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally see that. Because you have Character Rush, but Character Rush doesn't do anything if your opponent is just playing huge bodies that you can't swing into.
Yeah.
Yeah, weirdly enough, I think it kind of compares to like the OP2 meta with Ivankov of being able to poop out 7Ks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you were saying, like it doesn't really have a bump. It just like it gets pretty big fast, it does some control, but then it kind of just can't deal with a late game strategy.
Yeah. That makes sense. I feel like the early game as Kobe is super strong because you're keeping your board and you're just eating your opponent's hand. And if you can push that advantage to the late game, I think you're good. But if your opponent can stabilize and play like really big bombs, then probably not.
I think the deck is good. I just think it takes a lopsided matchup spread.
Yeah, and I feel like into Nami, right? If you go Kobe into Nami, if you swing into my characters, I might just give you the cards.
Yeah,
I'm gonna drop back. I'll just give you the cards.
Yeah, I think this meta is going to be so different. I think like the new Reiju is also going to be like a really strong card, like deck in the meta, and Arlong, and can like Kobe kill those boards faster than they can be generated? Hard to say.
You're right. Awesome. Well, cool. So we'll just put Kobe at second place and we'll put Nami at first. I think that's the consensus here.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think cards is the best thing you can do, and it gets more cards.
Yeah, that's what we were talking to Mizu about. I was like, yeah, in a card game, drawing cards is the best thing you can do all the time, always. The more cards you have,
I agree.
the more game you can play. That's just how it is. That's why blue is just strong. The color blue is strong in every card game, just because it's usually the card draw color. And who knew that drawing cards is the secret to winning a card game?
Yeah.
That's why I play Gardevoir.
All right.
Yeah.
Gardevoir? Oh god.
Yeah. Draws a million cards.
We need Ristic study in One Piece.
No.
Every time you play a card, every time you play a card, pay $1 more and I draw.
We should do an episode.
We'll talk about that more.
Experimental mechanics that we added to the game, but let's save that for a different time, or else we're gonna be for another hour.
Yeah. All right. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thanks so much.
We'll see you around.
Peace
Have
out.
a good one.